Hello, hello. What is up? So, I have a few special announcement to make, but someone is coming. Okay, so someone was coming in from the main entrance, and it usually does a lot of noise. But this also gave me the occasion to do some shuffling off camera because now I feel more confident to do that, but at the same time I'm not like the best shuffler available. Like I know that at some point in my life I will meet someone who knows how to shuffle cards like in poker, doing all the tricks, and it will be an amazing encounter, but it hasn't happened yet. So that's the main shuffling skills that I can show off. But that is not the announcement. The announcement is that this is going to be a special video because I will tell the myth as per usual. I will have 4 groups as per usual. But what will be different is that I will use, again, yeah, I decided to film at the time when everybody comes back from work, so that's on me. But what I was saying is that to signal the 4 groups, I will be using some quite special jewelry items that are from the same collections of those that I am wearing. It's hypoallergenic gold jewelry. So, we are now going to study and analyze today's myth as per usual. So this is the card that came out. I am filming in another part of the house because it's a bit more comfortable for the now. I just hope that the noise of the fan will not be too much, but I think it will, so let me just fix that. So I tried to fix it by switching which one of the fans was going to be the strongest, and basically at first I got even more noise. But yeah, now we're good. So today's myth talks about Tantalus and my neighbors arriving after work. So who was Tantalus? No, first, what is this myth about? So this myth talks about divine punishment. Also a little bit about divine forgiveness, but it's mostly about divine punishment. I have talked about the subject in other videos. I think that the master ones was quite similar in terms of category, but this one is a bit more specific and also more ancient because so Tantalus was someone, okay, like a person, and the divine punishment that he received was so particular and intense that it almost became a symbol for punishments. So Tantalus starts his life as a normal being person, and he ends up having to spend the whole eternity in Tartarus, which is basically one of the deepest part of the underworld. Wait. Yeah, so the Tartarus, and he's kept there because he has committed the worst crimes possible. So in divine terms, one of the worst crimes that man can make, and woman as well, is to think to be a god, is to think that we can abide to the same rules as God do, that we can act just as recklessly and not have any type of consequences. And Tantalus did even worse because he decided to do that against a god, and not just any god. He decided to be a a-hole towards Zeus, which, like the king of the gods. So I'd probably try to not piss off that one. And so in the book, I might show it. I've never showed it on video, by the way. So this is the book that accompanies the tarot deck that I use. So in the book, the part of the myth that is described is like a resolution dialogue between Tantalus and Zeus. So Tantalus is in Tartarus, he is receiving his punishment. I will explain in a minute what that is. And after like thousands and thousands of years of punishment, he starts calling again upon Zeus' name, trying to convince him to stop. Like, I've had enough. And the reason why his suffering is so intense, two reasons. He is suffering in a very intense way because the punishment is very intense. But at the same time, the things that he had done in order to get that punishment were just as intense. So the situation that we see in the moment where Tantalus calls upon Zeus to try and plea for his release, he is tied to a rock, like on a precipice, and there are other rocks constantly threatening to fall on him. So he's kind of living with the perpetual fear of being struck by something, and at the same time, as he can't move because he's tight, like he can't get out, but he can't even explore the tiny space where he is trapped. Okay. In front of him, Zeus also placed a buffet, but not just any buffet, like, because Zeus is a god, okay? Like, so he has godly duties to take care of, and so if he decides to take some time out of his busy schedule to punish someone, no, hey, Anubis, no baby, yeah, déjalo. To punish someone, he's going to do that well. And so he prepares a buffet with everything that Tantalus could ever desire, okay? The fresher fruits, the most sparkling water, I don't know, okay? And the buffet is basically presented and regenerated in front of his eyes every day, every single day. And as soon as Tantalus tries to, like, grab whatever is in front of him in terms of food, because he's starving, he's suffering, he's worried, he's stressed, and he just wants to eat, the whatever food he tries to take vanishes in front of his eyes. And yeah, so he calls upon Zeus. At some point, he's starving, but because of the divine nature of his punishment, he cannot die. We have seen in other myths that gods and Zeus especially can immortalize beings. We have seen him do that as a way to express gratitude, and in this specific occasion, that is used to inflict suffering. So Tantalus calls upon Zeus. Zeus comes down, and Tantalus tries to convince him, like, please have mercy, okay? Please have mercy. I am suffering like. Oh, okay. I am suffering. I am starving. I am stressed. I am scared for my life, but all the fucking time. But at the same time, I cannot die. So please do something. At the same time, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I might have done a couple things, but it wasn't that bad. And that's the point where Zeus just like pulls out the receipts and starts reminding him that his punishments do not come from nowhere. And so apparently that is also where we discovered that Tantalus had sold to whoever was willing to buy divine wisdom and divine mysteries without proper guidance and proper respect towards that. And that can be quite dangerous at the same time. But yeah, basically he got his hands on some, how does it is it called, wait, okay, so basically it wasn't just knowledge, it was also I want to say liquid, but it's not the right word, like nectar, ambrosia, basically. So he stole from oracles. So he stole from temples, where they had books, wisdom, and also drinks and substances that oracles would use for their divination within a certain context that would allow them to channel certain information and to do that in a safe way for everyone who was listening, but also in a respectful way towards the superior entities that were in charge of the messages and pulling the big threads of reality. So that was one. And then after that, in order to basically prove to himself, to whoever was following him through his delirious god complex, he killed his own son, and that was to disprove the power of the gods, basically. And after that, he also stole from Zeus. And in this part of the myth that is used in the book, we see that as soon as Zeus pulls out the receipts, even after years and years of suffering, even after torture, non-stop torture, Tantalus still lies. because when Zeus starts reminding him all the valid and good reasons why he is not allowed to have a happy ending for his soul, he still tries to get his way out with lying. And so that is basically where he signs his punishment forever, because, I mean, it's not specified, but I just can't imagine, Zeus put him in that specific part of Tartarus to get rid of his malicious and negative influence and, keep him busy somehow. You want to be a piece of crap, at least you'll be a piece of crap alone and nobody will hear you screaming. And until he heard him screaming, so he went back, tried to have a conversation with him, and as a reasonable person, after all that time spent suffering, would probably at least try a different approach. But that is not what Tantalus does. And so he still lies. He lies. He tells to Zeus, no, I've never stole from you. Apparently it was a golden dog that Zeus had when he was an infant god, and who was supposed to bring to Olympus with him, and Tantalus stole that just because he was going through some financial issues at the moment and he wanted to get rich now. Which he probably got, he probably got that money and he probably got to spend that for, a couple days. But, yeah, eventually he had to pay for that. And so, when Tantalus tries to lie again on Zeus' face, Zeus is just like, nah, bro. Actually, my messenger god, Hermes, found the object and the evidence related to the theft. So not only, yes, you are guilty, but also, yes, you are still a piece of crap. So that is precisely where I'm going to leave you, in your own crap, screaming and crying and suffering for all eternity. All right, we are ready for the group selection. So we will have group number 1 with the evil eye earrings. Let's try to zoom a little bit. Okay, group 2 with the Freya necklace. Group number 3 with the little choker, golden choker, and then group 4 with the Asia ring. I swear to God, that was the name on the catalog. I just felt called to it because, it had my name. So once again, group 1, group 2, 3, and 4. So quick reminder, as you focus on the object and select your group or groups, each group, since this will be a special video, will also receive at the end of the oracle messages a personalized tip or set of tips to charge with intention your jewelry in order to use it for spiritual protection. And so if you want to use your own jewelry, that is perfect. But if you like this witchy looking golden jewelry. You can purchase it at a discounted price from my website. You can find a direct link to the catalog of Freya treasures and the discount code. Okay, ready to go? See you at your group. Okay, hi group 1. So I did not just let fall the earrings and the whole set of cards. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So if you have chosen the evil eye earrings, those are so cute on me as well, but they can look cute on you. But that's not the point. So if you have chosen group 1, the message that is coming through is that you are kind of begging for something, and it's not bad, the fact that you are begging for it, because that's not the main issue of the message. The thing here, like the issue here, is that is not coming through, and so it might be I mean, the term begging is used here because it refers to something that you have been waiting for a very long time, and something that you might also have suffered for, like even consciously decided to like not self-induce suffering, but rather, if suffering has to come, I can accept to let it come for this situation, or in order to achieve this specific goal, I am willing to take in whatever I might have to take in. And so what is being said here is that, like, at the moment where we are having this virtual exchange, so at the moment where you are receiving this message, so these are timeless readings, so the time where you decide to watch this video is the right time to receive this message. And so that the time where you are receiving this message is not the right time to receive whatever it is that you are trying to receive. And so, as per usual, these are general messages. It can refer to a whole bunch of different situations. It is specified very clearly here that it can refer to some very specific sort of professional achievement, or professional recognition, or a certain arrangement even, or resolution in terms of love as well. So but whatever the case is, it's something that can't be mistaken for something else. I don't know if you get what I mean, but like, let's say that you are waiting for a sort of contract, okay? Like, you cannot replace that achievement with, I don't know, completing another task. Like, it has to be that. Okay? And that isn't happening right now. That could be because of different reasons. So, in general, what is being said is that this time, this specific time, is a time where you are being called to do the inner work in order to make space for whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. Um, Now, what does doing the inner work mean? That can be like the big fucking question. Because, it sounds very enticing. Like, do the inner work and then bam, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So, um, let's start with time frames because there are no specific time frames for this message. So it might mean that it's simply not the right time because you still need a few weeks to work on stuff. Point blank, period. Like, just continue doing whatever it is that you were doing, continue polishing whatever that you need to polish, and then it will come true. It might also refer to a longer time frame. Okay, so if the situation where you have been working and working and working and working towards something, and by now it should be about fucking time to see the results. The issue might be deeper, so you might be interested in watching other tarot readings or to really identify where are the blockages, because this group has the evil eye the evil eye earring. Okay, so you might have to do a cleansing work of your environment, especially if what you are trying to achieve is something that you feel called towards. Okay, so it's something that has a higher reach, a higher purpose, a higher whatever you want to call it. Okay, so if you want to do something good, if you want to do something sacred, maybe even if you want to do something important, that has longevity, that stays, okay, it's not just a project of building, it's also a project of unbuilding, it's also a process of cleansing, it's also a process of getting rid of whatever negative energy is preventing the growth. So whatever the situation is here, you can think of it like a garden that you love very, very much. And I think that Anubis just farted. And yeah, I need a minute. So it's kind of hard to look wise and and mystical when you have your doggy nearby, who just lashes out gas as he pleases. But anyway, back to your garden. So imagine that whatever you're trying to achieve is a garden that you love very much. And so in this garden, you have your beautiful plants, and you have been focusing your energy on how beautiful are your plants. And perhaps they are. Yes, they fucking are. And you might have not noticed that, just nearby, there are also other plants whose only purpose is to kill everything in the garden, and therefore kill themselves in the process, because no garden, no life, not for the beautiful plants, not for the rotten venomous plants. And so you might have to work on eradicating the poisonous plants. And so yeah, as I was saying, this message can be interpreted in different time frames. So if you have already been working on, for example, let's say removing toxic people from your life, this is a time where you might have to do a quick review and just check that everyone is really, really out, that they are not like trying to lurk in from the side door or shit like that. If you have not, then this might take a little more time, and but even so, that is what you are being called to do. And just in general, take it as it is. Try to relax through the process, knowing that it is a process, and that as long as you woke up and you have been granted another day of life, you have stuff to do, and sometimes it's not directly the stuff that will make you the happiest, but if you have been working on trying to do the stuff that will make you the happiest or the most happy, take what you get. I mean, that's you get the message, okay? It does not mean that the work that you are being called to do is driving you away from what you wish to do. Because, sometimes we pray and we're like, oh my God, I wish I could have this. And the universe is like, okay, that can be done. But first you should fix that. And the longer you like, the longer it will take for you to take the next step. So yeah, that's a general indication that I can give to identify which time frame your guidance belongs to. So that was all. I will now record the personalized tip for jewelry protection. Stay tuned. Okay, so first and foremost, when it comes to charging jewelry in order to use it for spiritual protection, one first question that you might want to ask to yourself is, in which context will I be using this? So, for this message, that is a message that talks about being more in hermit mode than being all out and about. The type of jewelry that you might want to wear at this point in time, where you are being called to reflect, to be in your own energy, and rather work on densifying your own energy to improve your own protection, to improve how successful you can be, and yada yada. You might want to choose jewelry that is comfortable to wear on a daily basis. Okay, so let's say if you choose to work on earrings, you might want to choose smaller ones and that do not fall so easily, so that you can rest with that and move easily in that. Why? Because this way you will be connecting with your piece of jewelry at several moments in time where you are actively taking the time to be with yourself, taking the time to work on yourself, taking the time to sit down and reflect, okay, from a soul point of view, right now, what is working, what is not, what is making me feel good, what is making me feel icky. what uh, what is waiting on me way too much, to the point where I might need to rest and recover from that. And so the energetical movement that you might want to imagine as you meditate, I'm not going to say on your jewelry, I'm going to say with your jewelry, okay? Because you are going to meditate while wearing whatever it is that you're trying to charge. So you're going to imagine your beautiful aura. We are all energetical beings around here. Okay, your beautiful aura. And you are going to imagine that the energy that is surrounding you is forming like a cocoon around you, like a protective cocoon. And when you imagine that cocoon, it's something that absolutely nothing can penetrate. It's made of the shiny essence that comes from the deepest part within you. And as long as you're with yourself, as long as you take the time to be with yourself within your energy, that cocoon cannot be broken. Okay, so that is the first part. You might want to take a few days to do that, like do it repeatedly across a period of time, and once you will feel called or ready to come out of your shell again, try to imagine that protective energy that you have called during your meditation, that you have actively created with your mind, is following you as you wear the piece of jewelry that you have kept with you. And we just woke up. Okay, that was everything. If you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I share more spiritual tips on many different subjects. And if you want to book a personal reading, that is still possible for now. That might change in the future. And you can do that through the reservation link that will be in the description box. And it's always, it's still always available on the website. If you are logging off, it was nice to have you. I hope that the message helps and resonates. And if you are sticking for other groups, see you there. Bye. Hello, group 2. If you have chosen, there it is, the Freya necklace, this is your message. And at the end of the message, you will have your personalized tip on how to charge your jewelry for spiritual protection. So, I forgot to show the keyword in group 1. That's okay. It's not as vital, but I will do that with you. And so your keyword is this one, just because I always do that, and so it's good to be transparent. Okay. It's in French, but I think that the best translation that I can give is the pleasures. And the message is you're good, baby. You're good, you're protected, and all the good that is coming in, first and foremost, you can take it in any form that you feel called to, as long as you are not stealing from someone, as long as you are not hurting anyone, taking the time to really enjoy your life, to really enjoy the pleasures of life, to really enjoy the fine things in life. There is absolutely nothing wrong, especially if you take the time to select places, people, endeavors, or entertainments that directly resonates to your soul, that make you feel good also on a soul level. And I mean, you are actually participating in the movement of making good things grow, because you are supporting other people, other businesses, other projects, other souls who are doing the work to enjoy life in the best way. And so not only like life is going to shower you with good stuff, but also you are going to be open to receive the good stuff. So your senses are going to be awakened. Like, I don't know. For example, here the season is changing. Okay, like, so it might be a moment like that where there is something around that starts shifting, and that has an impact on your physical body as well, kind of triggering an awakening in the best sense of the term, like not the rude spiritual awakening that one can have at the beginning of a spiritual journey, but rather an awakening of the body after a lot of spiritual work. And sometimes it might be difficult to give into that energy, because I mean, honestly, I could stop the message right now. There is really little to add. It's just enjoy it. As long as you stay true to yourself, you're good, you're protected, and this is happening for you. And yeah. But at the same time, since I am the person who he is delivering this message, I also translate that with my personal experience, and also always asking myself, why is this information arriving to me? Like, why is this information, why does this information have to be filtered through my life experience? What is the take that I can take on that? And so let's say that you haven't really been used to that. Okay, you haven't really been used to abundance, and that is coming through as the manifestation of a process that started within, because it was not really available around. Okay, and it might be difficult to give in to that sense of satisfaction, to that sense of yes, to that feeling of this, this is actually a good thing, and it's actually coming towards me. And I can actually relax while the thing approaches. Wow. And I was watching this video from Popular Loner the other day, and she said it very bluntly, like, if you're used to being poor, you might also be used to a feeling of suffering related to that, and so you might also carry old feelings in new situations, and there is no reason to. I mean, it's human to have that. Nothing happens like that overnight. But it's also important and possible to take the time to move past that, and that is what you're doing by sitting here and watching this video and basically revisiting the situation. Like, for example, I will talk about me for a few seconds. I have recently moved in a new home, and not so long after I adopted Anubis, my dog, and I was also changing works, taking a whole bunch of different directions, and so for and before that, I went through a really tough period of time, and so even if I had things going on, I was also struggling a lot, and more often than not, I would wake up, and the first thing that I had to think about was, what do I need to do in order to get food, in order to have the house running? But oh my God. And I have had recently these new kind of awakenings where I just wake up and I'm like, what do I need to do? And then I'm like, wait, absolutely nothing. Like, everything is done, everything is resolved, and more. You can chill, meditate, and go about your day. And but I had to do that, okay? Like, I had to take the time to tell myself that. Had to take the time to let my system know that was what was going on. To also let my system know that it was okay to keep on feeling on edge, if edge is all I've known. And that is also important. If edge is all I've known, it's also important to really take the time and acknowledge and give importance to the fact that this is something else, this is something different. It might be it might be unsettling, because when you don't know what the fuck is gonna happen, you might also want to stay in your struggling mindset just because it's all you know. And so something different, even if it's like beautiful different, can look scary as fuck. And don't be scared. Don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of your success, especially if you called it, especially if you not only prayed for it, but you also acted in order to back up your prayer, and not just be on your couch watching whatever, talking shit about anyone, and then you just go to a corner in your house and pray to whoever's unfortunate enough to listen. Please, please, please give me whatever I want. No, that is not the way. That it's important to pray because it sets the intention. It focuses the intention. It focuses the future actions, but then you have to follow with actions. And my dear pal too, you did. And so now you are being rewarded, as you should. And so 1117 on the timer of my phone. I will stop the message here, and I will now record the personalized tip on how to charge your jewelry for spiritual protection. Oh my god, I do like the influencers. Anyway, if you like the jewelry, you can purchase it from my website, and there's a direct link to the catalog, and there is the discount code, because it's cooler to buy stuff when you know a witch. Okay, so group 2. If you watched group 1, you already know. If you didn't, you are about to know. One first main question that you might want to ask yourself before working on charging your jewelry is, what I am going to use the jewelry for? Where am I going to wear it? And so, my dear group 2, according to your message, that is a message about living the life, you are going to wear it while you are going to be out and about. So, from an aesthetical point of view, you might want to choose okay, so I have several things. Okay, so two main things. You might want to choose jewelry that makes you look, but mainly feel shiny, and that is also gentle with your senses, because as I remind you that your message was a message about sensory awakening, basically. I need to turn up the light now because it's getting dark. And so the reason why I put the accent on make you feel shiny, it's because what makes me feel shiny might not make you feel shiny. So, for example, I have this, and it's like a golden necklace, and personally for my style, I like to just add some gold here and there and keep it minimal, and just be a little bit more creative with the clothing I chose. But for you, it might be different. Like I have stones coming through. If you have, let's say that, for example, you are already into spiritual protection and you have a favorite stone, so why not choosing some accessory that not only fit with your style, but also can correspond with you energetically. Now, another thing that I want to share with you, group 2, is this. This is jewelry, as I was saying, that you are going to wear while you are out and meeting people, and potentially going out of your comfort zone, having new experiences and all of that. And so, since in general, when we are out of our comfort zone, our spiritual protection can be a little weakened. This group will probably have to focus on being more active and more intentional when you are charging your jewelry. So group 1, for example, had this task of wearing jewelry at home and meditating while wearing the jewelry on a specific purpose. And there's weird energy coming through, but I'm going to remain general for now. So yeah, as baseline, you can basically copy the task of group 1, but other things that you might add is basically blessing the jewelry. So if you are already into spirituality, doesn't matter which religion you subscribe to, I mean, to each one its own, but so if you already have rituals that you use to bless your stuff, do that with your jewelry, and adding that to using it at home. I mean, you can watch group 1 to really learn why. But if you don't have a blessing ritual, or you might want to keep it general and not use any specific prayer or something like that, you can just use incense as space cleanser, and just hold hold your beautiful piece of jewelry and do a cleansing around. And then if you let's say you don't know any prayer, or you don't feel comfortable using prayers, what you can replace that with is music. And so you might want to choose songs that, or just a song that makes you feel like powerful and protected. I might start sharing playlists in the future, but like for the now, use yours. And also another thing that you might want to do, if you are one of my fellow witches or a spiritual practitioner and you have a beautiful altar in your home, you might want to let your jewelry rest on your altar while you ask for a protective energy upon it, and just let the energies of your altar do the work. But that if you don't have an altar and you are not interested in having one, you might just have, for example, let's say a special place in your home where that nobody touches your thing, and that is the place where you have control over. And you can put the intention of using that as protective spot to charge your beautiful jewelry. And yeah, that's it. That's it for my group 2. I hope that it helps. If it does, you can subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Instagram as well, where I share more spiritual tips on many different subjects. If you want to book a personal reading, that is still possible, but that will probably change in the future. For now, you can do that through the reservation link that is always available on my website, but it will also be in the description box below. Thank you, and I'm going to do group 3 now. Bye. Hi, group 3. So you have the golden choker. It's really cute. And your keyword is this one, the thefts. And so the general message that is coming through for group 3 is stealing is bad. And is bad for everyone. So how do I say it? So someone might want to try to steal from you, or someone is actively trying to steal from you, okay? So that is one part of the message. And yeah, how do I say it? So if you are seeing this video, I mean, it's probably because something can be done about it. If not practically, at least spiritually. So let's see what that is. If that hasn't already happened, this video is basically your warning to pay close attention to what's going on around you, because depending on the degree of vulnerability you are in at the moment, it can talk about different stuff. So it can talk about like financial, economical theft, and so that is a vulnerability degree where you live or work in really close proximity with malicious people. Like they are so close that they literally have their hands in your pockets. And so that is definitely something that you might want to change in the future. Like really change the people who you are letting close enough to have their hands in your pocket, point blank period. And but it might not be an immediate process, so just be really careful. Just be really careful of what's going on. Just know that the people who are close by have that in mind, and so amp up your spiritual protection if you haven't. And just make sure that you keep everything that you have close to you, like that you know where everything is, where envelope number 1 is there and it contains that, envelope number 2 is there and it contains that, and yada yada yada. Because if not, your chaos can become like the entrance door for whoever wants to take whatever and just act dumb afterwards and say that no, nothing happened, because you cannot really know that it was taken. So really put some order in your stuff so that you can at least keep track of what's coming in, what's coming out, and you can always refer on you. But then it also talks about professional theft, emotional theft, identity theft, and so unfortunately sometimes those things cannot be avoided. Like the moment when you realize that it's happening, it's already too late. Okay. And when I was saying in the beginning is that stealing is bad, is that you will definitely feel bad because that is happening to you. Now, if you are like me and you are on a spiritual journey, you're spiritually protected, and just not because you were born and some fairies put some fucking fairy dust on you, but because you actually work on that daily, like you might feel bad, but you might also know that it's not a real tragedy, and okay, I'm going to share this personal story. I had bought a new bike for myself, really beautiful, yellow, and I had worked hard for that, and then it was stolen from me, and I had tried to have it back, but I simply couldn't. Okay, and so I was kind of limited in in the way I would move around. But because of that, I also discovered new ways of moving around. And because of that, fast forward of a few months, I managed to find the perfect living place that I probably wouldn't have found if I had kept my bike and just maintained my moving habits the same and not see that as an occasion to discover new roads. Okay, now something else that is coming through and that you probably also know, and that also links to my first statement, seeing is bad, is that you might also not know the type of karma that the person who is stealing from you has to receive. Like, again, if you're a spiritual protected person, if something is taken away from you, usually gets replaced by something better, or it's, if taken in correctly, if taken in as a possible chances, it can be a chance to learn something different. But it might also mean that it has to be game over for the person who stole from you. Like, let's say, again, I'm very highly spiritually protected, so I really try to focus on the gain in any situation, because that is how I move forward gracefully. But I also know that everything, you have to pay for everything, that's why I work hard for my stuff. That's why I make sure that everything is done correctly, at least on my side of things. And because I do that, it's also easier for me to see how bad it can go when someone decides to not do that and take the stealing road. And that is especially sometimes even hilarious for me, because I went through a stage in my life where I was like basically making myself small in order to make sure that the people around me would not feel intimidated or scared by the fact that I work on my spirituality, and that it gives me a lot of strength through life. And because I was being like so kind about that, people would also assume that, I mean, she's a spiritual person, she's not going to get revenge, but what these people don't realize, that spiritually protected people don't need to fucking do that. Because things are going to go around eventually, it might not be as immediate as you slap me as like I slap you, but spiritual karma can be just as intense as a slapping, and sometimes even more, because it is delivered in a way where the person has to see that is the payment for what was done before. Okay? And so what happened to my bike? I still don't have my bike. I started counting. I started counting all the kilometers that I had to make walking because I did not have my bike. And I started counting that and just imagining that equating to intensity levels of suffering for the motherfucker who definitely did not know that I actually really like to walk. So yeah, if you came here to listen to that, it's probably because you are looking for an advice that goes a bit beyond the reported thing or go to the authorities, get a lawyer. I mean, sometimes it's not always possible. Sometimes it's not always affordable, and sometimes you just really have to rely on the law of the universe, because the law of men can suck. And so if you have been victim or you are being victim of a fraud or theft that is leaving you disadvantaged on some levels, the best spiritual move, look, you can use it as a bracelet too. The best spiritual move that you can do is recognize that what has been stolen has some real value. Otherwise, no one would care to take that from you. And if someone has to steal from you, that is because they cannot generate that for themselves. So as long as you are able to heal the ego wound, the emotional wound that comes from knowing that someone wishes you harm, that someone wants to take away from you, and you continue to do what you were doing, it's just a matter of time before you actually get the recognition that you deserve. And very much likely the other fucker will fall, because if you have to steal in order to get something, you will have to continue stealing, and it will definitely arrive a point where you are not going to be able to do that anymore. And so whatever it is that you were trying to bring to fruition does not have any fucking longevity. So yeah, you might want to consider using your own ideas next time. And so there is another part of the message that is coming through, and so that might be like the consequence of having been robbed of something, but this might also just be because you are stressed as fuck and you need to chill down, because it talks about feeling or being under the impression of like not expressing yourself at the fullest of your capacity, and also that you are basically not getting enough of what would allow you to express yourself at full capacity. And many different situations, it can be work related, but it can also be in relationship, like you are not being given enough chances to express your love, for example. And you know that if you and your person could have more time together, like that would instantly do the trick, because you have so much love, and now it's like here, but you would like to see it's like whoa, yada yada. Or there was this thing that happened to me recently, and that is more work related, and basically I collaborated in a art project, and it was quite intense because everything was new, all new information, very little time to put it all together, and after that I was feeling drained, but as fuck. And so I just knew that for the best of me, on the long run, I had to rest. I had to take a breath. I had to like really, just like Nicki Minaj, take some time out to rest in order to be back and be like, it's game on, bitches. But first take the time off. But since I was still so in the adrenaline mode of delivering the thing and expanding and exchanging energies, because it's a build up every art show, and then whatever you have been building up, it becomes like really intense energy that you get to share with you never know who. So there's also that part. But anyway, what happened in the next few days is that I was seeing a lot of people that like around me that I had known either from that project or previous stuff, like going full force forward, and like I just knew that it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. Okay, not only because like I knew for me at that moment in time that had been intense enough, but also because I'm also like studying where the fuck planets and stars are before throwing myself into something, because the energy might not be as favorable during certain transit and yada yada. So I knew all that, but even if I knew that, I was still feeling like left out, and I really realized that it's something that sometimes we cannot control. Like even if you are spiritually wise and you have done the work, you know that you have to be on your own path. You know that obsessing over what other people do is useless, to say the least. And but still, when you are on a journey, whatever type of journey is, the term journey means that you do not know for sure where your next stop will be, where you are going. I mean, you can foresee a little, but not everything, and sometimes things are not even sure. So like it really depends on what happens and what the fuck you decide to do. And so yeah, like I really had to be blunt with myself and remind to myself that everybody's journey is different. Everybody comes into this earthly reality with different spiritual entanglements to work on, and yeah, it's really human to get lost in this hurry of the material world, where I mean, when you are constantly on the go, constantly on a rhythm, it can become even addictive, to be on that. But if you're doing something because your soul is calling you to do that something, you might also want to do that at the rhythm of your soul, and not because at the time where your soul is calling you to rest and somebody else's soul is calling them to rush, you need to rush as well. I mean, you might not know this person who is rushing perhaps doesn't have as much responsibility as you have on their um, on their daily life, and so at that point they are perfectly capable of running, and the the possibility that they are being given at that moment in time is for them, and it's not for you. And in fact, what happened to me is that, I mean, I did that work. I took the time to really like separate myself from all of that, and not so long after I got another opportunity that was, I mean, I'm not going to say even better than other people's opportunity, because those are for them, but it was even better for me, and it was even more aligned with whatever I was doing at that time. So yeah, rejection sometimes is protection, and sometimes people who are assholes are just basically begging for you to take the higher road, be spiritually impenetrable, and decide that the game is fucking over. Okay, so group 3, that was everything for the oracle message. I will now talk about the spiritual rituals that you can use to charge your jewelry, but I will first turn on another light because it's getting even darker. Okay, group 3. So I have used the same question for all the groups. And so the first question that you might want to ask yourself before working on your jewelry is, what am I going to use this jewelry for? And so if you belong to group 3, the answer might probably be you're going to use it for war, spiritual war. Not to attack someone spiritually, I mean, unless like it's a super really bad person. But even in that case, I usually advise to be really careful with hexing, because it always comes with a price at a cost. So, but good news is that you can still be a fucking spiritual badass without having to harm anyone, just by being really intentionally cutthroat with your own spiritual protection. And also infuse it with perhaps some give back intention. Okay, like the formula that I have found that is working pretty well for me is this. As long as I am not harboring within myself ill intentions, first and foremost, it becomes quite easy for me to pick up when someone is around me. So that is one step. After that, after having acknowledged that person A or B or C, and their friends and stupid cousins, are planning whatever, I start working on my spiritual protection non-stop. The difference here is, like, I am a spiritually inclined person, so my daily actions, even the smallest one, I calibrate them spiritually. Very directly said. When I feel like I am under attack, what I do is that I amp it up tenfold. And like, do I need to do that in order to complete my daily task? No. Do I need to do that to make sure that the bad vibes go back? Yes. Am I happy to send the bad vibe back? Absolutely yes, because that was not mine to carry in the first place. My work is to make sure that I create and maintain a space where peace is maintained and ill intentions are not entertained. If someone wants to burden me or that space with unwanted or unrequested bad energy, then it's simply a matter of returning the gift. So my group 3, to charge your jewelry, you might want to look at the final part of group 1 and group 2 as well, because it goes into details about general jewelry charging, and also different options of blessings that you might use even if you do not use blessings on your daily life. Okay, and one variant that you might use for your war jewelry, so your group has the golden choker. I mean, this is the style that goes well for me, because I like a little badass aesthetic, but I'm also a lady, for fuck's sake. And sorry about that. No, actually, I'm not sorry at all. What I want to say is that once you have chosen the right style of war jewelry in order to bless it for war, you can, if you already have your blessing rituals, use that. If you need one, a very simple one that you can use is use incense. I use myrrh incense. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, but yeah, burn stuff that is linked to the color blue for evil eye, and basically do a smoke cleansing of your jewelry. Just hold it up and just let the smoke do its sacred work. And you can use simple prayers, I share the Vade Retro that comes from Latin. If you have your own prayers, doesn't matter what is your religion, whatever works for you. If you do not have any prayers and you do not feel comfortable with praying, you can replace that with music. And yeah, just yeah, I'm not going to start sharing playlists just yet, because at least do part of the work here. But there are some playlists on YouTube that go you are the badass main character who becomes a villain to teach a lesson. It's seriously the playlist title. It's a whole encyclopedia long, and yeah, just something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a playlist if you have your own music that allows you to harbor the type of feeling, play it really out loud, and just let the jewelry absorb the vibration. Wow. I just did a sound therapy that was using vibration for the body. It was amazing. But anyway, that was it. If you want to purchase this witchy style jewelry, you can find the direct link on my website, the direct link to the catalog, and there is also the discount code, because I am the cool friend who allows you to have stuff for a cheaper price. And if you like this video, if it resonated, if it helps, you can subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Instagram, where I share more spiritual tips on different subjects. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, that is still possible for now, even if it will probably change in the future. And you can do that through the reservation link that is always on my website, and I will single it out in the description box below. Thank you. And if you are leaving, bye. It was nice having you. And if you are staying, see you for group 4. Bye. Hi, group 4. So if you have chosen the Asia ring, Asia ring. It started with the. Okay, give me a minute. Yeah, so of course Anubis almost ate the shit. So everything is still good. If you have chosen the ring, this is going to be your message. So this message talks about getting what you want, but is not as ideal as it could be, or like you get what you want, but you are not really okay with the nitty-gritty details. Like this is a ring that I got, that I chose. Like I could pick different type of jewelries, and so I picked like this is for this is for that, this is for that. And when I picked this, that was basically to confirm my what's the word in English? Commitment, spiritual commitment to my soul, spiritual commitment to my mission and purpose. And I am going to talk about that in a minute, because it might resonate for someone. And yeah, this message also talks about the consequences of that. But something also more general that is coming through could be that you are getting the job opportunity that you wanted, and like it's perfect. But it also means, for example, that you will have to travel more, and you had no real plan to do that, or you had no real preparation or backup plan to face that, and you will have to basically you will have to find solutions, or like something that no, let's keep it here for now. No, actually, yes. Or this might also mean that you have manifested something, if you are my magicians, manifestors, or yeah, if you identify with that. And the moment where it comes through is really apparently not the right time. Like, yes, it's something that you wanted. Yes, it's something that you prayed about. Yes, it's something that you did the work that you, to be able to receive that. But if you could have like at least a couple months more, it would be great. And basically you are being called to accept that things comes whenever they come. Like I remember when I basically manifested Anubis, my dog, I moved into this new place, and as soon as I moved in, I started seeing that this could be a potentially good place to adopt a dog, because it was big enough, it has a garden, and then there's a whole lot of space outside where I can run with him. And so I was like, okay, I'm not 100% sure that I'm ready for that now, but if I were ready, what would be like? What would that look like? And so I started imagining that. Okay, I would love to adopt a black dog, medium size, with like a face like that and that I could call Anubis. And basically a few days after, I see the picture on Instagram with the face of this guy, and he was looking for a home like right away. And I had just moved in. The house wasn't like viable 100%. I still had to find dog food, accessories, get used to get out and train several times a day, stay at home with him for the first month to help him really get acquainted, and also release some fucking trauma, because he was a stray dog, so he came in pretty nervous and traumatized, my little one. And it was scary as fuck, like how am I going to put up with all of that? And I just had to accept the fact that, I can recognize things inside of me. I can do the work to call the things outside, like from the outside, but then it is up to the universe, it is up to circumstances to decide how, when, and in which way that is going to arrive and take roots. And so as I was basically following the flow, I said the first yes, and then I had several times when I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I would hit roadblocks because he was pretty far away, so I had to find a way to travel and bring him home. But like, okay, I have said yes in the first time, so now I have to just find a way, and it is sometimes annoying, and it is very stressful because I have to start investigating, asking questions to people that I don't even know, and make things work, knowing that I don't know for sure how that will work out. And now he's here. And yeah, we met with his rescuer the other day by accident, by universal arrangement, and she basically couldn't recognize him. He had no scars, he was all playful, he could play with other dogs as well, and he was not able to do that for a long time. But anyway, I could talk about my dog for days, but that is not the main focus here. What I want to say is that there are going to be like difficulties or like stuff that you might have to struggle a little bit to either comprehend, organize, learn from new. But the only thing that you can do now is accept, because that is the consequences of what you have called, or of what you have done. Which also brings us to another part of the message, which is going to be just for a small group. Like there's the general message, and there's this just little bubble. let's say that something was going really well, and then all of a sudden you have troubles coming in and it looks like it comes from nowhere. Like the message that is coming through is basically it's your karma. And so yeah, just basically try to reflect upon the energy that you are being presented with, and try to remember at which point in your life you might have offered the same energy, willingly or unwillingly, because I mean, if you've done it willingly and you are getting bad karma, first of all, get the fuck off my channel, because you are probably not going to resonate with most of my messages. But if you have done that unwillingly, that is basically life or the universe asking you to recognize that even unwillingly it is possible to do harm, and now you're being called to recognize that in order to not repeat that again. And the non-repetition this time should be willing. And so another thing that is coming through, and yeah, this I was talking, so if you resonated with what I said in the beginning about committing to a spiritual truth, a spiritual journey, or to your own truth, like it doesn't have to be all mystical in order to be committable. That the message here is that you are basically going to assess and realize what you need to do, or what rules you need to respect in order to reap the benefits of what you are committing to. Because of course I did not choose to commit to my spiritual truth because I woke up one morning and I had nothing better to do. It was out of chaos, necessity, also very strong pull from within, but that's not the main point. The main point here is that what I was looking for were improvements. What I was looking for was more. What I was looking for were changes in my life. And I had to take the time to realize, understand, and put into practice. And I'm still doing that. The fact that in order for me to have those benefits, I also have to subscribe to certain rules. And, you know, at some point I started like analyzing which kind of rules, and like, yes, it required a bit of work on my behalf, but it also made a lot of sense, like remaining ethical, remaining transparent, even if that means like giving the bitch face sometimes. But you know, you are being transparent because that is the reaction that is being provoked. So I'd rather like give the bitch face and move to something else than, you know, keep each other in each other energy, and you're basically poisoning each other because you do not vibrate at the same frequency, and you simply cannot coincide at that point in time. But, or at any given point in time in some cases. So yeah, rules. You are going to basically retrain yourself in order to make sure that you're respecting the same rules that can guarantee you to have certain peaceful outcomes in order to have these peaceful outcomes. And, if you are already working on your protection, on your spiritual journey, and yada yada, this might also mean having to reorganize the people around you, because, like, for me, it's like that. If someone comes into my life and I am spiritually protected, automatically I will bring you into my protective bubble, okay? Now, if you want to stay into that protective bubble, you will have to respect, first and foremost, the same rules that I have to respect, and then the rules that I set up in order to preserve myself physically. Because, we are cosmic beings, but we are also flesh suits that drive around the material reality. And so, since I'm also an empath and I had to go through that annoying work that empaths need to do at some point in their life, where they kind of have to learn like as if it was an unknown skill, how to place distance between themselves and other. I used to have a really, really tough time cutting people off precisely because of my protective shield. Like, I can see that it is helping you. I can see that me carrying your burdens is actually helping you move lighter and with more bravery and yada yada. But at some point I also started realizing that if people can enter in that zone with no awareness of how the spiritual realm works, of how reciprocity from a spiritual point of view is kind of a law, and they actually take that as like God-given, oh, this has been given to me, and so this is basically my green light to do just whatever and have no consequences. And that's not true. So what I started realizing was that the more I would let people take from that energy and never give back, that the universe would eventually get them and have them give back. Perhaps not to me, but in a general way. And since I generally do not want to hurt people, I basically had to learn how to recognize from very early on when there might be some serious spiritual discrepancies between me and whoever's in front of me, because I don't want them to get hurt. And even if it's not, like, if it doesn't go as far as trying to prevent malicious people from having like seriously bad karma because they try to fuck up with your spiritual protection and the physical boundaries that you have decided to put to surround that. It can also be a message about self-preservation, meaning that you might need to cut people off in order to fully commit to yourself and fully commit to your truth, for the simple reason that these people cannot support you and therefore cannot support your truth. And if they cannot support it, they are basically suffocating it. And that might be hard to accept in the beginning, because in the physical realm we meet people, it just happens, and we might be led to think that because people cross our path, it's because they are supposed to stay in a certain way. Now the physical world works a bit differently, meaning that you might meet someone in the physical reality, and from a spiritual point of view, the purpose of that encounter was basically to get the fuck away from each other. And because the more you stay, the more you are compromising your truth, the more you are compromising how consistent and serious and efficient and true you can be to your truth. And now this might be for just a small group of people, but this can also talk about lifestyle, habits, routines as well that you might need to change. But always remember that you are doing this because you are working on stabilizing something that you have called, that you wanted, and that you know that is for you. And also that the sooner and the quicker and the smoother you are able to accept those parts that seem like obstacles or too hard to face or too hard to live with as well, the sooner you might also see the benefits of that, and also on the long run. That is more like a message where you are going to see on the long run why it was more beneficial to do things like that and not in the super easy way. And so and also you're going to get something cool in the meantime, so that's that there's that. Okay, so I have closed the message as at 22 minutes and 22 seconds, and so now I am going to this group is going to be fun as fuck. I'm going to share the spiritual tip to charge your jewelry in order to use it for spiritual protection. So the question that I have shared with each and every group is this: what are you going to use your jewelry for? And every group had a different answer, and so your jewelry is going to serve you as a reminder. So I don't know if you saw the movie Memento Mori. I think that was the title, and basically it was the story of this guy who was investigating um, upon the death of his wife, I think. And because he had like daily amnesia, he would fall asleep, and then as soon as he would wake up, he would forget all about what he had done, all about new clues, and all about new discoveries, and yada yada. And so each and every time that he would find a clue, he would tattoo that onto his body, and so he was full of tattoos. And basically every day he had to go through a whole process, and until he would remember, oh fuck, I just need to read myself. And I mean, in the end, he finds out that he was actually the one who killed the wife. So it was a whole lot of work for basically nothing. But that was just him. You are going to do differently, okay? I mean, we are going to make sure of that. How we are going to make sure that you are going to use jewelry to remind yourself of why you are doing what you are doing, why you have started, why you have decided to go through the first walls in the beginning, why you have felt that calling in the beginning at the stage where everything seemed pure and just there to be lived. And yeah, so you're going to want to choose jewelry that you are able to see very often. So me, for example, I have to choose a ring because it's in my hands, and I'm always working with my hands. Tattoos work as well, and I actually have my memento as well, but we're talking about jewelry now. So I think that in this case, what you might want to do is to let the jewelry come to you. So you might want to choose some elements, like, for example, okay, the jewelry has to be visible, so I'm going to choose either a ring, a bracelet, a ankle bracelet, a feet ring thing, a like intricate hand accessory, but something that is going to be visible. So you pick what, and then you might also want to pick, for example, colors or materials. I mean, I'm going to be very blunt and honest about this. I have chosen this aesthetic first and foremost because my first real expression of commitment towards my spiritual journey came after a very, very painful grief, a very, very painful separation. So I kind of decided to wear black as a reminder of the pain that gave me the motivation and the strength to move forward and actually do the work. So yeah, that's the kind of mind frame that you can use. For example, I don't know, use certain stones because they are related to a certain geographical area that means something for you, or using certain once again material. Let's say you're crafty, okay? You express your spirituality, you express your creativity, you express your God-given gift through what you can do with your hands. And so you might want to choose, and let's say, for example, you work with certain material, and you were trying to launch a project where you create with certain materials. So you might want to choose a reminder jewelry that it is made with the same material, but in a jewelry mind frame. Okay, so something that reminds you of your practical work, but that is also pretty, and that you can wear even outside of the context where you are expressing your truth and purpose. And then to charge it, you can go back to to the final part of group 1 and 2, where you can learn more into details how to generally charge jewelry and how to use smoke and vibration sounds to charge it and to cleanse it and charge it. But in your case, if you really go into surrender mode and you choose like a jewelry piece that really represents your surrender mode in all the senses of the word, like first and foremost, it might mean that the jewelry comes to you blessed per se, and so just do some general cleansing might be well enough. Giving it a name can help as well. This one already had my name on the catalog. It was by accident, but you know, also not. And yeah, basically, if you are going to have like a certain moment or a certain event or even a ceremony, because I mean you might want to celebrate some. I mean, there are some what I want to say is that there are some commitments that you also get to celebrate publicly. I mean, not only on a relationship level, but let's say, for example, a new work position or stuff like that, and where basically you are going to be able to speak about your commitment. You are going to be able to send out the intention with words, because that is how like spiritual contracts are made. And wear that. Just as if it was a marriage, you know, like sometimes it's really important to just have the celebration mindset, even if it does not look as much as a celebration as the media or the collective picture that is being offered of a celebration is. I think I got lost in my own thoughts. Let me get back. No, okay, that's it. That's everything. Basically, let the jewelry come to you and do some basic appropriation rituals to make sure that you can bond to your jewelry, and after that you can have your own memento. Anubis just farted once again. I just had to move to close this video. This is absurd. But you know, it's also life, and it's part of the cuteness as well. So that was all that I had for you, group 4. If you want to purchase any of this witchy looking jewelry, you can find a direct link to the catalog in my website and the discount code as well, so that you can really reap the benefits of being virtually friends with a witch. And If this message helped you and it resonated, you can subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I share more spiritual tips on various different subjects. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you might want to do that as long as it is still possible. And yeah, the reservation link for now is on the website, and it will be in the description box below as well. Thank you. Have a great whatever you're going to have after this, and see you soon.